大家好，欢迎来到我的小博客。Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria and we're learning Chinese together here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the most confusing words for the HSK 5. This is part 3 of the long, huge list of words. The first two parts can be found up here and also in the description. This list will also be useful for those who plan to take their HSK after the format is reformed. So we know that next year, most likely, the HSK is gonna be overhauled from 6 to 9 levels. So these videos will be useful for those planning to take HSK 4 in the new format. So the first pair of words that we have is 强烈 and 热烈. 强烈 means strong, intense, violent. It can be used both for positive and negative connotations. It merely indicates a very high intensity of a feeling or an action. For example, 强烈的刺激, a strong impulse. 强烈的味道, a strong smell. You can also say 强烈反对, to strongly oppose, or 强烈要求改革, to strongly demand reforms. 热烈 is a positive word. It means warm, enthusiastic, as in 热烈欢迎, a warm welcome. 我在朋友家受到了热烈欢迎. I was very warmly welcomed in my friend's house. Or you can say 热烈祝贺, to congratulate warmly. 热烈拥抱, to hug warmly. 观众向演员们热烈鼓掌. The audience applauded warmly to the actors. Our next couple is 前途 and 未来. 前途 is prospect, future path. It literally means the path that lies ahead. And for example, you can say 有前途的人, a promising man. 前途 can be 乐观, optimistic, or 悲观, pessimistic. 人生的前途很远也很暗，然而不要怕，不怕的人才有成功的机会。So people's future, people's prospects are far away and not clear. But don't be afraid, only those who are not afraid have the opportunity to succeed. So you see in this example, 前途 can also be translated as future. But more generally, future is 未来, and it can be a noun, for example, 美好的未来, a beautiful future, or it can be an adjective, 未来的一年, the coming year. Next is another synonym which means hardworking, diligent, 勤奋. We had lots of those in the previous parts. We also had 刻苦 and 努力. So you can say 勤奋的学生, a diligent student. Next group is 轻易, 容易, and 简单. So 轻易 is an adverb. It comes before a verb and it means easily, quickly. For example, 车很轻易的就启动了. The car started easily. 那个包很轻, 玛丽能轻易地把它捡起来. That is a very light bag. Mary can pick it up easily. 胜利不是轻易能得到的. Victory doesn't come easily. Okay, now it differs from 容易 in usage. Both mean easy, easily, but the structure for 容易 is different. 这两个字容易混淆，请同学们注意. So these two characters can be easily confused, are easy to be confused. Please, students, take note. So 容易 something to do something, yeah? 容易混淆 easy to be confused. Or for example, 这是一个大家容易忽略的问题. This question is easy to be neglected. And if we want to say that something is simple, easy, we use the word 简单. For example, 老师出的问题很简单. The question that the teacher asked is very easy, is very simple. Or 这次考试很简单. This time the test was very easy. Next we have 巧妙. It means clever, ingenious. But this is not used with people. When we talk about clever people, we say 聪明, and 巧妙 is about some actions, moves, tricks, plans. So effectively it is some mental activity. For example, 巧妙的手段 a smart means. Or for example, 这篇文章的构思十分巧妙. The concept, the idea behind this article is very smart. Next we have 权利. The two words are pronounced exactly the same, but they both can be translated as right, but they are actually different in meanings. So 权利 with 利 which is force, yeah, it means power, authority. For example, 权力机构, some sort of an authority, an institute of power. Or for example, you can say 你有什么权利批评他? What right do you have to criticize him? What authority do you have to criticize him? And 权利 is right, meaning entitlement to something, to have the right to something. For example, 民主权利 democratic rights, 劳动权利 the right to work, or 权利和义务 rights and obligations. Next we have 取消 and 删除. So 取消 means to cancel, to annul, to call off. For example, 取消订单 to cancel an order, or you can say 取消计划 to cancel a plan. And 删除 means to delete, to erase. Normally it's computer talk. We are talking about 删除文件 to delete a file, or 删除程序 to delete a program. Next we have a group of synonyms 善于, 擅长 and 熟练. So 善于 means to be good at something, and it is followed by a verb. For example, 这位老师特别善于和孩子们打交道. This teacher is especially good at communicating with kids. Or you can say 善于克服困难, to be good at overcoming difficulties. 擅长 means to be particularly skilled at something, and it can be followed by a verb or a noun. And it's more about professional expertise in a particular area. For example, you can say 爸爸爱好书法，他最擅长草书. Dad loves calligraphy as a hobby, and he's particularly skilled at 草书 style. So this one has to be with more professional skills than just being good at something. You can also say 这位画家擅长画花鸟. This artist is particularly skilled in painting birds and flowers. Okay, and 熟练 is an adjective, means skilled. For example, 熟练工人 a skilled worker. 他跳舞的动作十分熟练. He's a very dexterous dancer. Next we have 生动, lively, vivid, and it is used with writing, speech, some kind of descriptions. For example, 生动的榜样, a vivid example, or 这本书写得很生动. This book is very lively in style. Next we have a group of synonyms 省略, 忽略, and 忽视. So 省略 means to omit a part of a text or a speech. For example, you can say 中间的部分省略不说了. You can omit the middle part. 跟主题关系不大的片段可以省略. You can omit the parts that have no direct relation to the main topic. Then we have 忽略, and this means to neglect, to ignore. For example, 追求数量，忽略质量. To pursue quantity and neglect quality. Or you can say 我们经常忽略实际问题. We often neglect real problems. And a very close synonym of that is 忽视. So 忽视学生的需求, to neglect students' demands, to neglect students' needs. And when we talk about 忽略 and 忽视, the first one is more about doing something not on purpose. You simply forget about something, you don't pay attention because you don't know that it should be paid attention to. And 忽视 is more about consciously overlooking something, like paying attention to something else rather than this important issue. Next we have 是的 and 仿佛. So 是的means same as if. Honestly, it's not a very common word, and it's pretty bookish. in regular speech we would say 跟 something something 一样, but you can say 像 something something 是的, it means the same thing. For example, 他这个人一直像吃不饱似的. So this man, he always looks as if he's not full, he's never full. And 仿佛 has a similar meaning but a different usage. For example, 美丽的草原仿佛是一片绿色的海洋. The beautiful grassland looks like a green ocean. Yeah, it looks as if it is a green ocean. Both words are pretty bookish, so you just need to remember that they mean to look as, to resemble, yeah, to look as if something, and that's it. Okay, next we have a group of words 实行, 操作 and 执行. 实行 means to implement, to put into practice about some plan, decision, policy. The verb literally means to implement something in reality. So it's like you take something on paper or something in your mind and put it into practice. For example, you can say 实行改革, to implement a reform, 实行规则, to implement rules, 实行计划, to implement a plan. You can also 实行人口调查, to carry out a census, to carry out a survey. A country can 实行和平政策, to implement peaceful policy. Or, for example, about China, we can say that 实行计划生育是中国的基本政策. So implementation of family planning is China's basic state policy. 操作 means to operate some kind of machinery or equipment. It's a little bit of technical, but you can think about it in the context of computers. For example, 操作系统 is an operating system, or you can ask 这款软件怎么操作? How do you operate? How do you use this software? And 执行 means to execute, to implement some kind of task, duty, or obligation. 上级的命令一定要执行. You must implement orders of a higher authority. 我们团队正在执行一项任务. Our team is currently implementing a task, is currently implementing a certain project. It can also mean to enforce about a law. For example, 从实际的角度来看, 这项法律可能难以执行. From the practical point of view, this law is probably hard to enforce. Okay, next we have a pair, 舒适 and 舒服. You probably know 舒服, it's a very common, very basic word. It means comfortable, yeah, to feel well, 很舒服. And 舒适 also means comfortable, but 舒适 is more kind of objective characteristic of something, of furniture, for example. You can say 这条沙发很舒适. This is a very comfortable sofa, a very cozy sofa. But if you say how you feel when you sit on that sofa, you can say 我在沙发上很舒服. I feel very comfortable on this sofa. So 舒适 is mostly about furniture, house, or some kind of environment. 创造舒适环境, to create a cozy environment. And 舒服 has a broader meaning, like basically everything that makes you comfortable can be 舒服, right? Or you can also say 我不舒服, I'm not feeling well. Next word is 提纲. An outline of main points of some speech or some text, some piece of writing. It's not a difficult word, but I just included it here because we need to learn it together with a verb to make an outline, and that is 列提纲. 作文时要先列提纲, 再根据提纲起草. So when you write something, you need to first make an outline and then start your draft according to this outline. Next word is 推辞, means to refuse, to turn down. It's a synonym of 拒绝. For example, you can decline an invitation. 推辞邀请. Next, we have one of my favorite groups of synonyms because they are translated the same and they look very similar, but they are actually very different once you understand the meaning. So we have 体验, 经验 and 经历. They all mean experience, but they're actually very different. So let's start with 经历. 经历 can be a verb to experience. For example, 我经历过这种烦恼. I have experienced this kind of trouble. Or you can say 他经历过这种情况. He once experienced the same situation. Or I can say 我有留学的经历. I have studied abroad. I have the experience of studying abroad. Now, if you're thinking which synonym you should choose, if you can paraphrase your sentence to say to have been through something, to have experienced something, most likely you're going to need 经历. 经验 is a noun, it cannot be a verb, and it means experience in the sense of knowledge, in the sense of skills and some gains that you have acquired after some kind of encounter, after some kind of 经历. So for example, you can say 工作经验, work experience, 有经验的老师, an experienced teacher, yeah, a skilled teacher, a teacher who has knowledge and understanding of teaching. Have a look at the sentence where 经历 and 经验 are both used to mean different things. 他一生经历了很多坎坷，积累了丰富的经验。So he has been through many ups and downs, he has experienced many ups and downs, and accumulated rich experience. So once again, 经历 is somebody's history, somebody's past experiences, what somebody has been through. For example, 留学的经历 is a fact that a person has studied abroad. And 留学的经验 is the knowledge about how to study abroad, maybe some skills, some tricks, some life hacks that he has after studying abroad. Now, what about 体验? It can be a noun and a verb, and it means to experience something firsthand as opposed to something that you learn from books or from somebody's narrative. It often comes in a collocation 体验生活, to experience life, to have rich experience of different aspects of life. Yeah, for example, you can say 作家要体验生活才能写出好作品. The writer should experience life. He should often have first-hand experiences. Yeah, only then he can write a good story. You can also remember it in a phrase 用户体验. User experience, yeah, so it is first-hand experience that you have after interaction with the software rather than reading about it or learning it from other people. Next we have a group 危害, 伤害 and 损害. So 危害 means to undermine, to jeopardize, to put in danger. You can 危害身体健康, to endanger health. For example, 空气污染危害人们的身体健康. Air pollution endangers people's health. Yeah? 伤害 means to wound, to injure, to damage, and it is used with 身体, 思想 or 感情. For example, 不要伤害他的自尊心. Don't harm his self-esteem. Or you can say 几度是一把双刃剑. 伤害别人也伤害自己. So jealousy is a two-edged sword. You hurt other people and you hurt yourself. And there is a third synonym which also means to damage, to inflict damage on something. It is 损害. So you can 损害健康, to damage health. You can 损害名声, to damage reputation. Or you can 损害群众利益, to damage public interests. 损害 is a verb and 损失 is a noun, which means damage or losses, and you can 受损失 to suffer losses. Next we have 休闲, 歇 and 业余. 休闲 means leisure, and it is used with something that is related to leisure and some kind of recreational activities. For example, you can say 休闲零食, snacks, 休闲服装 casual outfit. 休闲场所 is recreation sites, leisure sites, public leisure sites, and it is everything like museums, movie theaters, exhibition halls, karaoke bars. All these are 休闲场所. You can also have 休闲区, a recreational area, for example, common area in a hotel. It is also used in the phrase 休闲娱乐, which is leisure and entertainment, and 休闲娱乐的时间 is time for leisure and entertainment. 业余 is after work, spare time, after work hours. So it is related to everything that you do after work or outside of work. So if 休闲 is about leisure, is about having fun, then 业余 is about something that is not related to your full-time job. For example, you can have 业余收入, part-time income, or you can have 业余兴趣, some free time activities, and there is also 业余学校, evening school, part-time school. I don't know if in the West there is such a concept, there is such a school, but in the Soviet Union and in the last century China, they would have these schools for workers, for example, for factory workers, because people would start work really early, like 17 probably, and they didn't have time to finish high school, they didn't have time to go to college, so they would go to work, and after work they would go to this 业余学校, like evening school. Okay, next we have 歇, and it is just a formal version of 休息, which means to have a rest. You can say 请歇一会儿, please have a rest. Obviously, it is a bookish word, so you don't really say it to a friend. Next, we have synonyms 宣布 and 宣传. 宣布 means to announce, and it's a formal way of to say. Yeah, it's mostly used in news, like somebody announced, the president announced something. Yeah, or some formal policy announcements maybe. For example, 2018年美国宣布单方面退出伊核协议. So in 2011, the US announced unilateral withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal. So this word is mostly for news, yeah, formal announcements. And 宣传 is to propagate, to disseminate some information to a larger public. It can both mean simply to inform people about something. For example, 对这个新产品我们做了很多宣传. We did a lot of publicity for this new product. Or it can also mean to conduct political propaganda. For example, you can 宣传共产主义思想, to propagate communism. So next we have 应付, to deal with something or somebody, to handle something. And we have 克服, which means to overcome some kind of difficulty or obstacle. For example, 应付复杂的局面, to deal with a complicated situation. Or 克服, you can 克服语言障碍, to overcome a language barrier. Or you can 克服自己, to overcome yourself. Or you can 克服困难, to overcome difficulties. So these verbs, they may overlap, but when you 应付, you simply deal with something, yeah, you deal with a difficult situation, and when you 克服 something, you overcome it. Next is 缘故. It means reason or cause, and it's a more formal synonym of 原因. 他到这时候还没来，不知道什么缘故. He still did not come, I don't know what the reason. Or 我这样说是有缘故的, I have my reasons to say so. 与其不如 or 与其宁可. So the structures are used to compare two options rather than A, better B. 与其在这里等他，不如去找他. Rather than wait for him here, better go and look for him. Or for example, 与其浪费时间，不如去做有益的事. Rather than waste time, better go and do something useful. 造成 means to lead, to cause, and it is always used with some negative consequences. 今年的洪水给人们造成了巨大的损失. This year's floods brought about great damage to the people. Or for example, something 造成不良的后果. Something brought about negative results, negative consequences, 造成不良的影响, to cause negative impact. 造成食物中毒, to cause food poisoning, 造成浪费 to lead to a waste of resources. 责备 means reproach, criticism, and it is used in the collocation 受到责备 to be reprimanded, to be criticized. 我受到了老师的责备 I was scolded by the teacher. 爸爸责备我作业做得不认真 Dad scolds me that I don't do my homework diligently. And a couple of useful phrases with this word 受到良心的责备 to feel a prick of conscience. And 成语求全责备 means to demand perfection. For example, 我们不能对别人求全责备We cannot demand perfection from other people. And the last couple of synonyms for today is 主张 and 提倡. 主张 means to advocate, to stick to some kind of position, opinion, or approach. For example, 主张改革 to favor reforms. 主张以中意见 to stick to some kind of opinion. 中国主张通过谈判解决国际争端 China sticks to peaceful resolution of international conflicts. Or 主张 can also be a noun. For example, 我从来不隐瞒我自己的主张 I never conceal my opinions. And 提倡 means to advocate, to promote some positive actions, some positive behavior. So you can 提倡节约能源 to advocate for sustainable energy sources, or you can 提倡自由讨论 to favor free discussion. 生活水平提高了应该提倡适度的消费 After the living standards improved, it's necessary to advocate for reasonable consumption. 那我们今天讲到这里 That was it for today. 谢谢大家耐心观看，下次再见，拜拜。